Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very first episode of the Squash Match Wrestling Podcast. We're going to cover everything that went on this week in the WWE. Not everything, but we'll get to some of the important parts. I'm joined today by Jet Li, my special guest. Jet Li, how we doing?
Doing good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, how you been? We haven't really talked in a while, so
No, I think last we spoke was probably when I was back in town for Thanksgiving.
yeah, I was gonna say I saw you. What was that? Backyard?
Yeah, it
We
was
were there.
backyard.
Yeah, the whatever that night's called, the night before Thanksgiving. Everybody goes out and drinks. I don't know. It was crowded there, so I couldn't really hear too much of pretty much everything that was going on. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's get right into it. We're gonna start with probably the hottest topic in professional wrestling today. We're gonna start with John Cena, and before we get to everything that's going on nowadays, I just want to hear what are your reactions back at Elimination Chamber. First, we'll start with him winning the Chamber match, and then we'll go to the inevitable ending of the show there.
I think Cena winning the chamber was the right call. I think the biggest issue was him not fighting his spot for it. Like myself personally, the moment that he didn't need to fight for a spot, knew something was gonna happen. I think at the end of the day, it was like I feel like most fans saw it as like, oh, it's John Cena. Why should he be fighting when it's like his last year here? When it's like in the end, it's like, who? Wow, like there's a story behind it now.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at too. Like right when he kind of declared, I knew something fishy was going on. Did I know it was The Rock and whatever the hell happened over there? No.
Mhm.
But I agree though. I do think that John Cena winning the Chamber was the right call. I felt like it's his retirement tour. I knew he was going to go into WrestleMania. He was going to main event versus Cody Rhodes. But I didn't see it happening this way. What were your reactions to the end of the show?
I think it was definitely the biggest curveball I think the WWE could have pulled. You have your biggest face, literally the face of your company, turning heel. No one would have expected it. I think everyone wanted Cody to be the heel going into Mania, especially if it's facing John Cena. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, we'll definitely talk more about it now. But like the way like John Cena being portrayed as a heel is definitely the way it should have been portrayed.
Yeah, I mean, like once again, nobody saw that coming. Like that was it's hard to like comprehend for me personally anyway, like being not that we were a part of it, but like a part of WWE history. Like this will be talked about for like generations, Like this is like one of the biggest moments in history. This is like Hulk Hogan returning as a heel levels of like high
Yeah.
caliber shit. So it's like it was just crazy. What did you feel about Travis Scott being a part of that segment? Because personally, I wasn't really a fan of it. Like, I was kind of like, I've talked about this multiple times on my radio show. I was like, why was he there? Like, what did he add to this segment other than like slapping Cody Rhodes? He injured Cody Rhodes. He could have ruined WrestleMania.
Yeah, I remember. I think what I initially saw I was like, oh, it's just Travis Scott basically being here like to hype up WrestleMania even more. But like it's kind of a weird triangle with Cena, The Rock, and then you just have Travis Scott in the background. I
Yeah,
thought that was absolutely hilarious.
yeah. It's like, where did he come from? Earlier that day, WWE put a post on Twitter, and it was like, what will Travis Scott do at Elimination Chamber? And
Yeah.
I replied to it. I was like, probably the same thing he did on the Raw debut when he came out with Jey Uso, which was literally nothing. Like he walked down the thing
Mm.
smoking a blunt with Jey Uso, like
Yeah.
didn't even like interact with the crowd, didn't sing a song, didn't do anything. He just like came down, dapped up Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and then just like left. So I was like, what are you doing here? Like, I don't know. I just if he injured Cody, I mean, knowing Cody Rhodes, he would have wrestled through it anyway. But like,
Mhm.
I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it. I was just like, get this guy out of here. Um,
Travis did a lot of damage from that hit.
yeah, it was like what he like fractured his orbital bone or something. He had a black eye. Like it
Hmm.
could have been worse than it was. Definitely, somebody didn't tell him, hey, like take it easy. I don't even know if it was
Like this is
planned.
our top guy here.
Yeah, like like please don't. Um, Now last night. on Raw. We are recording this on a Tuesday, so Raw was last night.
Mhm.
John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. That promo battle. Honestly,
What a promo battle.
yeah. 5 out of 5 for me. Who do you think won though? Because that was a big topic of debate online.
Just strictly off last night, or just like the entirety so far?
We'll start with the entirety, and then we'll get into last night.
So I think the entirety, it has to be Cody in the sense. I feel like Cody has been like that, pretty much the guy on the mic, especially since, Cena hadn't really been on Raw or any show prior to the European tour.
Um, yeah, I think I'm gonna agree with you there, just because it feels like the couple of weeks building up to this week, it was like Cena would come out, he would talk, Cody would come out, he would talk, but they didn't really interact outside of like looking at each other, you know? Like it was kind of just like a hey, I'm here, hey, you're here, we're going to go at it eventually. And people online uh complaining like, "Hey, why aren't we getting John Cena and Cody Rhodes actually going at it?" It's like, "Well, because, they're building up to what we inevitably saw last night." In
Mhm.
terms of that promo, wow. I honestly,
Yeah.
it's hard to say because both of them had some great like points. I feel like Cody was a little bit better with the crowd, but what John Cena
Mhm.
had to say was like stronger. So it's hard to determine a winner. Who do you think had it?
I think Cena had it. I think the moment that Cena said he was gonna bury Cody, I'm like, Cena is gonna rip him a new one. And
Oh
the
yeah,
thing is, like, I feel like that was Cena at like 50%. Like, I don't think that was a true John Cena
yeah,
like heel promo that we could have seen.
yeah. Like he's not scheduled for next week on Raw, but like he's gonna be there. It's next week's the last Raw before Mania, right? I think so. Maybe there's
I
one or
think
two
it's
more.
the second to last, I believe.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, we're gonna see John Cena again. We're gonna get another back and forth between these two. Um, like I said before, I don't know. Like it's like Cody Rhodes, I feel definitely won the crowd over, which as a babyface you want. He had the big spots. He was like, "Oh, you're shit. Your dick is bigger in your words than it is in your jorts." Like he had like the big hitting,
Yeah.
like comedic, like
Mm.
crowd popping moments. But John Cena, like when he came at him, I don't know, man. I think you're right. I think John Cena in that aspect definitely won.
But Cena was spitting
Oh yeah,
facts to Cody,
oh yeah,
especially when I think he dropped the one line where it was like that Cody had to leave.
yeah.
That was rough.
Like when Cody came at him and he dropped the Vince McMahon reference, and then Cena just clapped right back with that Tony Khan like I make billionaires,
Mhm.
you just steal from their sons. It's like that was crazy.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's always been strong about Cena is like you cannot win a promo battle if he knows, like, if he hits like a personal level.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I don't know. It was crazy. It was crazy. I couldn't
Yeah.
get over it. Moving on though. One more thing about John Cena. The Rock. Obviously, he's the catalyst for this entire feud. But where
Hmm.
has he been since WrestleMania, or not WrestleMania, since the Elimination Chamber? He came out trying to get Cody to turn to his side. As we've seen, he got John Cena, but like
Hmm.
since then, we haven't even gotten reference to The Rock. Like it's like I don't know. It's like he's not even there. It was like they needed a reason for Cena to turn heel, but they've almost. I don't want to say they've changed it, but it kind of feels like they're moving away from it. Do you think we're going to see The Rock again before Mania or after Mania or at all even?
I feel like it's gonna be a Rock at Mania thing because I think it will go back to like Cena's like first like official promo as a heel, where he said like he does not owe anyone an explanation anymore. And I think that's gonna really like dig into people's like, oh well, why would you side with The Rock? Why would you sell your soul? I think that's where it's like Cena's like, I really don't need to tell you.
Yeah, because since then we haven't really gotten this answer other than he's angry at the crowd. But if that was it was like they could have kind of gone that route anyway without The Rock. So I
Hmm.
don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking here. I think we're not going to get The Rock until after Mania. I don't really want to see The Rock come out and help Cena win 17. I think if like
Yeah.
whether he's a heel or he's a babyface, he's still becoming the most prolific champion in WWE history. So it's like I think he
Hmm.
still has to do that on his own with or without The Rock. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see. Anything else on the topic of John Cena before we move into what we got next year?
I will say, I think John Cena takes like the worst crossroads I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, yeah, dude, that was
It
soft.
was like it was like the slowest crossroads I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, that was bad. That was. I will agree with you there. That was something else.
The sell was there, the execution just was
Yeah, no,
not it at
it
all.
was like watching a slow mo like recap of it.
Yeah,
The slow mo recap looked like identical.
yeah.
Moving on, we're gonna get into one of the things you wanted to talk about. Let's go Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Last night we had the rematch for the Women's World Championship. Bianca Belair, the special guest referee. What are your reactions to that match and how it turned out?
It went the way I was expecting to. There was no way it was uh they were not gonna determine a winner. It was gonna be either a double counter or a double DQ. Like this was easily seen just to build up into Mania.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. I said on my my SmackDown summary last week, and I even said it on my radio show too. I don't really think we needed this match. It kind of felt
Hmm.
like a match for the sake of having another match. Like the feud was already there, you know. Like
Hmm.
Rhea signed the thing. Like it was like they're trying to be too like logical with it almost. Like it was like, oh, Rhea signed her name on the paper. Why not just throw her in? Like that's kind of what I thought they were gonna go with. Like maybe Io Sky comes out and she's like, hey, you know, she bitch slapped me. She bitch slapped me. They're pushing me around. Why
Hmm.
not just throw her in the match? But it was like, no, we got this rematch, and like you said, that's kind of exactly what I was predicting was just some shenanigans going on, and I don't know. It ended kind of just how I saw it was going to.
Hmm. I think my biggest issue with this feud right now is there's not a clear-cut heel in this. I feel like everyone's a face in this. And like you have like Ripley who's like the anti-hero. You have Io who's the world champion. She's gonna be the face. And then you have Bianca who's always been a face, but I don't know, this European tour with these European crowds, they are hating Bianca.
That's what I was just about to say actually, because it was like it feels like they're trying to build up Rhea Ripley to be the heel in it. You know, like she's coming out,
Hmm.
she's the one who's all pissed because when she lost the championship initially, we got that promo backstage at the end of Raw where she was like all emotional, like, "Hey, you know, I lost focus, I screwed this up," and then the next week she comes out and she's just like, "Fuck you, yo!" Like it was
Yeah.
like it was like they just like switched it right up. But you're right on this tour, everybody's booing Bianca Belair, and
Hmm.
like as you were saying before, like it's like yeah, they do all feel like baby faces because coming into Mania they kind of all were, but
Hmm.
they could have fed off the crowd and made it Bianca. I think they're gonna go with that Rhea Ripley route though. Unfortunately, because I do like Rhea Ripley as a babyface.
Hmm. I feel like, and this is just me personally, I feel like Rhea has always been better as a heel. Just because I feel like the whole like Judgment Day stuff, like that's where we saw like the true mommy in Rhea Ripley.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if she taps that in and like it gets into that situation where it's like she is the heel, but she's being loved by everyone. Whereas you have the difference in Bianca where she's supposed to be the face and everyone hates her.
Yeah, like Rhea has that similar vibe to like Jacob Fatu right now, where it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, like he's clearly the bad guy. He's coming out beating everybody up, but like the Fatu, 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 like you hear it every week, whether it's in the U.S. Or on this
Hmm.
European tour. It's just like everybody loves him, and like they can't do anything about it, you know.
Yeah.
Do you
I
think?
think
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think hopefully there's a clear-cut heel going into Mania because I really don't know who the heel is going into this.
Yeah, it's just it's hard to tell right now. If WrestleMania was in like London, like it was actually
Hmm.
just announced WrestleMania 43 is going to be in London, but like if it was in
Hmm.
Europe, I think Bianca Belair they could definitely get away with it. But
Yeah.
I think they have to go the Rhea Ripley route. what was I gonna say? Do you think this match should have main evented night one?
Probably not. And I think the issue is going back to I feel like there hasn't been a developing story compared to what we will see at night one. And I know we'll definitely talk about later, which is Punk Rollins and Reigns. I feel like there's such more build up to that where like that has to be the main event.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. People online. I'm very big on just Twitter, watching YouTubers, all this stuff. So like following
Hmm.
it, it's like everybody's like pissed that it's not Io, Rhea, and Bianca, and like I don't know why. Like, do you not understand the history that was there between Punk, Reigns, and Rollins? Like,
Hmm.
it's like 10 years in the making, more than that, like so
Yep.
much more. While we're on the topic, we could just get right into Punk, Rollins, and Reigns. What we saw on SmackDown, the contract signing. We
Hmm.
got it revealed that will be the main event of WrestleMania, as we just said. What do you think CM Punk's favor from Paul Heyman is going to be?
Um, I think my stupid answer will be bringing Brock Lesnar back. But I think that's tough because I feel like it could be anything, knowing the history of Punk and Heyman, and the fact that Heyman is the special counsel to Roman Reigns. I think it's gonna have to be something that screws Seth out of this.
That's interesting because I actually have Seth Rollins winning this match. I want to see Seth beat both CM Punk and Roman Reigns, but we'll get into that in a second. What I think the favor is going to be, I think we have two options here.
Hmm.
One, which is the one that I really don't want to see at all, is if CM Punk wins the triple threat match, he gets added to Cody Rhodes and John Cena.
Hmm.
Like we already have like however many multi-man matches now. There's like four triple
Yeah.
threat matches. We have a fatal four-way building up for the IC title. There's going to be like a ladder match or two at WrestleMania, probably for the tag
Hmm.
team titles. I don't want to see another triple threat, especially a story of this caliber where like I get it, CM Punk has history with Cody Rhodes, he has history with John Cena, but it's like I don't think he should be added to this. Maybe like a future match against one of them, but what also I think the favor could be is Paul Heyman just switches sides and he goes off with CM Punk, which I also don't like, but I'll get your reaction first and then I'll go into why.
So you said what? The first one was Punk getting added into the
Yeah,
WWE Championship match.
yeah,
Um, I don't like that just because of the fact that there really hasn't been much like talk or like any sort of like storyline in regards to like I feel like it just wouldn't make sense for him to just be plopped into it.
yeah. Like it's like he said that the favor what 2 weeks ago is like it's something that he wants, and he hasn't really
Hmm.
talked about wanting a championship at least in a while. All he wanted
Hmm.
recently was main eventing WrestleMania, and he's kind of got that already. So now that we've got this curveball with the favor, it's like I really don't know what it could be.
Yeah. And then I feel like the favor is just gonna be like so obnoxious. Like
Yeah, like it's
I
gonna.
feel like uh, I feel like the favor just is like just because I helped you out, I expect this back. It's like, oh, I want uh Roman Reigns to acknowledge me. I was like, what?
Yeah, like this almost feels like a last minute change. Like it's like the favor was supposed to be main eventing WrestleMania. That's what it was supposed to be back when they teased it at Survivor Series, and it's like they just changed it out of nowhere seemingly, and it's like I really don't know what it could be. Do you think in the event that it is Paul Heyman switches sides to CM Punk, uh, what do you think about that? Because personally, I don't really think CM Punk needs Paul Heyman at this point.
I don't think Punk needs like a right hand man anymore in Heyman. The issue is if it does happen, I feel like that destroys the whole concept of Roman being the tribal chief.
Yeah, I could see like his like special counsel, his wise man. Like it's like Paul Heyman has become so like synonymous with Roman Reigns. Like we know the history
Hmm.
of Paul Heyman, obviously. Like Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, now
Hmm.
Roman Reigns. I think Roman Reigns, his run with Roman is probably like his best work at this point. Like I really like him with Roman Reigns. And
Oh, 100%.
it's not that Roman necessarily needs Paul Heyman as much anymore, but he's just like there, you know? Like if he's going to move on, he's got to move on to somebody like new, somebody smaller. He's got to elevate
Hmm.
somebody. Like there was a tease, it was probably like a year ago when Braun Breaker came onto the scene. It was like Braun Breaker
Hmm.
and Paul Heyman having a conversation behind the scenes, and people were saying, "Oh, you know, maybe next Paul Heyman guy, Braun Breaker." I'd like to see him go for somebody like that. Like maybe the favor is just Paul Heyman leaves Roman Reigns. Like I have no idea at this point. It's
Yeah, I think especially now that pretty much Triple H is like the head of creative, anything is literally possible.
yeah, yeah. Um, Speaking of anything is possible. Um, First of all, is there anything else you want to cover on this triple threat match here before we move on?
Um, nah, I think this is definitely gonna be like the most like story-driven feud going into Mania.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Here's one not very story driven that I'm having a problem with is what are they going to do with the United States Championship at WrestleMania? Because we've seen, uh, it seems like Jacob Fatu was the guy at first that was kind of going back and forth with LA Knight. And then Jacob Fatu got involved with Braun Strowman, and now Solo Sikoa is
Mhm.
involved with Jacob Fatu. What do you think the plans are for LA Knight?
I've It's so tough to like consider what the US title could go into because it's like especially like I'll go back to like when Shinsuke won it, I was all for it, especially with his new gimmick.
Yeah,
Absolutely loved the whole like sinister vibe. Gave me a lot of like great memories when I was watching him in New Japan. But I feel like the US title has faded in the sense of like the mid card talent is better than the actual mid card champion.
that's interesting. That's interesting because I do agree. SmackDown's mid card has been awesome, and especially during Shinsuke's title reign, it was like we were getting awesome matches. Like we had, I think Carmelo Hayes that like game 7 series we had between Carmelo Hayes and Andrade. I think that was before the championship reign, but like that
Hmm.
really kind of elevated us into that. Like Braun Strowman's been super active. Obviously Jacob Fatu not breaking away from the bloodline, but like he's been cutting his own promos. He's been kind of coming out of his shell in terms of that. Carmelo Hayes has really been up there. But this SmackDown mid card has been so good, and especially during that Shinsuke reign, it was so good without the champion. And I feel like LA Knight is now stuck in this situation where he has to help recover from that. And I don't see the plan yet with him. Like there's really no stories developing. Like there's a couple of ways they can go that I have written down here. Hold on, let me find it. But yeah, do you think Solo and Jacob Fatu is the route for WrestleMania in terms of those two? Because that's where it looks like they're going.
I feel like it's gonna be like a very like weird curveball between those two. I feel like in some shape or form, one of them's gonna screw the other no matter what happens. And I think that's gonna lead to the WrestleMania buildup. But I feel like Jacob and Solo could probably be held off until like next year.
Yeah, maybe that or like maybe a SummerSlam kind of thing,
Hmm.
something like
I
that.
don't I don't think this is like a WrestleMania type feud. As much as like I would love to see Jacob at Mania, I just don't see this like being the right timing, especially with like all the shenanigans that are like quickly happening.
Yeah, because it's like we had that match. What was it? A week or two, it was 2 weeks ago. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman to qualify for the
Mm.
United States Championship match, and Solo Sikoa got Jacob Fatu disqualified, and it was like, what the hell is going
Mhm.
on here? Like as a fan watching it, I was just as mad as Jacob Fatu was. Like I was like, what is going on? Like why would they do that? And then
Mhm.
last week, then we have the U.S. title match. Jacob Fatu comes out, screws over Braun Strowman, gets them disqualified, and then backstage we've been seeing those tensions rise between Solo and Jacob Fatu. So it looks like whether it's at Mania or not, they are building up for that feud to come eventually. I would hate to not see Solo Sikoa on the card somewhere just because of the year that he had, but I think the only
Hmm.
spot for him is Jacob Fatu. So in terms of what the actual match will be for the United States Championship, what are you thinking?
So I've thought long and hard about this, just because I really wish they bring back this concept because of how like incredible the SmackDown mid card has been. I want to see the championship scramble back.
The what? I don't even know if I know what that is.
So it was like back in probably like the late like 2000s where it was like I feel like the most iconic thing was like I think it was like Unforgiven where it was like you had I think Triple H going in as the champion and then you had like four other competitors. So and like there was like a time limit thing. So like say if Triple H got pinned by I think Jeff Hardy or something, and Jeff Hardy would be the current champion until the time would run out.
Oh, and then like the next person would come in and they would have to.
So I feel like it's just so hard to explain because like it was like such a cool concept in my eyes, especially like going back. I'm pretty sure it was Unforgiven, but seeing like someone like the Brian Kendrick technically being a WWE champion
Yeah,
for like 5 minutes was hilarious.
yeah. I'm gonna have to look that up because that actually does sound pretty good. It sounds better than what I think they're gonna do. I think they're just gonna do another ladder match with like
Hmm.
Andrade, Carmelo Hayes, and maybe Braun Strowman's thrown in there. Who else? Maybe they throw Shinsuke back in there. I don't think we're gonna get Jimmy Uso anymore just because of what happened on Raw.
Yeah,
We'll get to that in a
no
little bit.
shot.
He's like dead. Um, but yeah, I've been leaning towards that ladder match. Unfortunately, like I said, we're getting too many multi-man matches already. Like we get the
Hmm.
occasional one or two, and it's like, that's cool. Like I like a triple threat match. I like a violent triple threat match, if anything. Like
Hmm.
there's no rules. Um, but yeah, not like 10 out of 15 of the matches.
Yeah.
So yeah, the U.S. Championship very open right now. Maybe they could develop something, but I don't know. The only other thing I can really see is maybe have Jacob Fatu and LA Knight at WrestleMania and then Solo screws him over again and they set that up later. But at WrestleMania, I don't like interferences in matches, especially a
Hmm.
PLE of that caliber, the Super Bowl of wrestling. Like,
Yeah. Like I'll be honest with you, like I won't be mad if there is no US title match at Mania.
yeah,
There's just like no build up for the title going into
yeah.
it.
And it all kind of goes back to, I feel like Shinsuke Nakamura's run, which like you said, I loved the new character when he came out. I didn't see that coming
Hmm.
at what was it, Bad Blood, where he won against LA Knight. Was it Bad Blood or Survivor Series? I think it was Survivor Series, actually.
I don't remember. It's been
It
so
was yeah,
long ago.
it was around that time, but I didn't see that coming. Like them just changing the title like that. But when
Hmm.
I loved Shinsuke's new gimmick, this like dark samurai guy, like he was super cool. He was like an anime character, and
Yeah.
the fact that it wasn't his fault that his reign was so bad. Like it was like he was just booked so poorly. He barely showed up on
Right.
TV. He didn't have any promos, no feuds, no matches. It stunk. And like unfortunately, I predicted this on my radio show a while ago.
Mhm.
I think Shinsuke Nakamura is going to get released soon because they really don't have anything for him.
Yeah, I mean, I would honestly like I would love to see him back in Japan. Like it's he is literally the king of strong style. We have not seen that probably since he was in
Yeah,
NXT.
not at all, not at all. And it's like it's such a shame too because it's like he's so good and it's like we've seen like 50%. It's like the John Cena promo that we were talking about earlier. It's like we've seen fifty
Hmm.
percent of Shinsuke Nakamura, and it's just like it sucks. It really does.
Hmm. And now that like Shinsuke's aging, I feel like we're on like a time clock now with him and like some of these other guys.
Yeah, at this point, if he's going for the like finishing his career route at this point, which I don't even know how old he is, I'd imagine probably late 30s, early 40s maybe. maybe
Mhm.
even older. It's like if I were him, I'd probably just want to finish my run where I started.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the U.S. Championship? Or are you set to move on?
I'm good.
All right. Let's move into another one of the. We'll go singles matches. We'll go back to this. Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair. Last week on Monday Night Raw, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, we had that interview, the backstage interview, where they weren't actually sitting face to face. Charlotte Flair destroyed Tiffany. Like,
And I hate everything about it.
obliterated Tiffany Stratton. So, what were you thinking initially when you saw that?
I'm thinking in my head, Charlotte's gonna beat the living hell out of Tiffany at Mania, if this is the route they're going with.
Yeah, like I heard rumors, I read some stuff, and it was like Charlotte wasn't supposed to like go off script and go that hard on her, but it's like it's
Mhm.
WrestleMania, it's Charlotte Flair, like you can't just tell her not to do that. Like, but this makes Tiffany Stratton look so bad heading into it, or at least it did
Mhm.
last week. We'll get into what I think about in just a few seconds here, but who do you got for this match?
I really want Tiffany to win this. I feel like she is going to be the next face of this women's division. But it's so hard to root for her when she's pretty much been viewed as such a weak champion compared to Charlotte.
Yeah, she really got she made her look like a rookie, and she is a rookie, which is what people are
Hmm.
forgetting. Like she's been in WWE for just about a year, maybe a little bit less, and it's like she's already the women's champion. She's already a Miss Money in the
Hmm.
Bank. It's like they've elevated her to such a high platform where people are expecting Charlotte Flair levels of hype from her, and it's like we're just not really getting that yet. At Elimination Chamber, that match she had, it was Trish Stratus and her versus Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. I
Hmm.
didn't care like at all for that match. Like it was so boring. It was almost like just like a gap in the show. Like
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I feel like that was just to get like a cheap pop for Tiffany at that point.
yeah, because it was like she goes out, she spends the day, she's all friends with Trish Stratus and everything. What I think they could have done to really elevate her, because she's barely had any championship matches. What has she had? One or
Hmm.
two, and they were all on SmackDown
Yeah.
against Nia. She didn't even have one against Nia Jax. Didn't she have a
Hmm.
match? It was Candice LeRae or something like stupid. Like
Yeah.
it was like who cares? What I think they should have done is they should have had her go against Trish Stratus. It's like a
100%.
like a training match almost. Like instead of teaming with her, like it
Hmm.
was like
At the chamber.
yeah, like it was like if you're going up against a WWE legend like Charlotte Flair, wouldn't you want to practice against? Not practice, like
Hmm.
sure Trish could have. It could have been like an AJ Styles Cody Rhodes last year situation where it was like Tiffany's gonna win, but it's like this is like a
Hmm.
credibility win. Like it's like okay, I beat Trish Stratus, I beat a Hall of Famer, I could do it again at WrestleMania.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I agree though. Her reign has been a little bit lackluster so far. This week on Raw, after Charlotte Flair had her match against Michin, we had that
Hmm.
backstage segment again with Tiffany Stratton in an interview, and she was kind of saying like, oh, if I lose at Mania, I'm just a rookie who lost to Charlotte Flair. But if Charlotte Flair
Hmm.
loses at WrestleMania, she'll never live it down. Do you think this helped Tiffany recover from last week at all?
I honestly don't think so. I think it just she basically admitted that she's not on the same level as Charlotte
Yeah, and I think that
as a
was
world champion.
yeah, I think that was a little bit of WWE like going off of what people are saying like online and stuff. Because since the Vince McMahon era, they've listened more and more to fans. We saw it last year. Obviously, we want Cody, but
Hmm.
it was like they kind of saw like people saw through it. I'm sure they watched it and they were like, oh shit, that didn't go the way we wanted it to. I
Hmm.
think it helped her out a little bit. I still don't think she's going to win at WrestleMania. I think Charlotte Flair's got this one in the bag. But she did
Hmm.
bring up a good point. It was like, hey, if Charlotte loses, she just lost to the next Charlotte Flair. I become the next Charlotte Flair once I beat her. But um, if I lose, whatever. I got a long career ahead of me. So I thought she made
Hmm.
a good point. And I think that's going to save her after the fact where it's like, okay, she's not champion anymore, but she's not completely buried. She lost to Charlotte Flair. Everybody loses to Charlotte Flair. if there's three things that are inevitable in life, it's death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning championships after returning from injury.
Yeah.
So that's
I think um I think this goes back to like the whole like build up between like the Raw, like the Women's World Championship, where it's like you have three faces. Over on SmackDown, you have two technically heels, and one is just more heel than the other.
yeah, because SmackDown in terms of the women's division doesn't really have much going on really, especially in the main event. I feel like who is the big main event heel other than Charlotte Flair? Like Nia Jax and
Hmm.
who? Like there's, and especially before Charlotte came back, it was like who was there?
Yeah.
Like literally
Honestly,
nobody.
I'm like surprised with like how much SmackDown is struggling.
Yeah, it's really been. I don't want to say going downhill because I'm still gonna watch the show every week. Blah blah blah. Yada yada
Hmm.
yada. But that women's division, like it needs to go back to 2 hours. And I was one of those people that at first was like, I want to see a 3 hour SmackDown because
Hmm.
on Raw, like it was 3 hours before it went to Netflix, and I was fine watching every episode of Monday Night Raw. I was like locked in, edge of my seat, watching. They're filling the time so well, and it's like they just can't do it on SmackDown. Like I don't know what it is.
Hmm. I think the issue with SmackDown now is they don't have the star power anymore. Like, we look back, Roman Reigns was the one name that you would tune into every day on SmackDown. Well, like every Friday on SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't think they have that big name anymore.
Well, they technically have Cody Rhodes, but
But, like,
all
he's
that's go
popping on both shows
yeah,
now.
and all of that's going down on Raw. Like if they had one of the Cena promos on SmackDown, one of them on Raw, maybe they had this final one on the SmackDown this week, the SmackDown before WrestleMania. Like that really would
Hmm.
have brought SmackDown back. Like it's like I think SmackDown has star power, but they just don't use it. Like Drew McIntyre's on SmackDown now. Drew McIntyre is one of my favorites today. I fucking love Drew McIntyre. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's like Roman Reigns is part time unless a big PLE's coming up, like a SummerSlam, a Survivor Series, a WrestleMania, Royal Rumble. But like other than that, you
Hmm.
don't see him all year. Like who are the big heels right now on SmackDown? Like it was Solo Sikoa, but
Hmm.
they kind of shot that in the foot with the Tribal Chief title returning to Roman Reigns or whatever. I
Hmm.
thought honestly before the Raw debut on Netflix, I thought that Solo Sikoa Roman Reigns was going to be a WrestleMania match. Like I don't think it had
They
to
were
be.
building it up
They
for it to
really
be.
were, and I feel like that might just be part of like Netflix being like, "Hey,
Hmm.
we want the big stars here. Give us a big money match for this first episode of Raw." So it's like maybe Netflix screwed that up for us, but I don't know.
I think we'll probably see more of SmackDown like once after Mania. Because I feel like there's been nothing like hype about SmackDown as of recently besides the triple threat between Punk, Reigns, and Rollins.
Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree. Because like Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, like I feel like yeah, that has star power. Kevin Owens just had an awesome match at Elimination Chamber. He just had an awesome
Hmm.
match at the Royal Rumble. He's been in this long term feud with Randy Orton. He injured him back in, I don't know, like October of last year, maybe earlier. So it's like the
Hmm.
story is there, but they're not really doing much with it other than Kevin Owens comes out and he ruins Randy's match. Like it's like
Hmm.
we need a better promo for this one because what was it 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? Randy Orton opened the show. Kevin Owens came out and he was just like, "Hey, Randy, I'm sorry. Let's go win the tag titles." And it was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I wasn't buying that. I'm not buying this apologetic Kevin Owens.
The thing is, like, I love like Crash Out Owens.
Yeah.
I think like this has been like some of his best work so far,
Mm-hmm.
especially like bringing back like the package pile driver.
Oh yeah,
When
definitely.
he brought that out and hit Orton with it, I'm like, we are going there.
Yeah, we are so back. We are so back. Especially Saturday night's main event. Like people are saying about those shows, it's like a glorified house show. Nothing is happening. But it's like
Mhm.
things are kind of happening. They just didn't show it on TV. Like I didn't find out about the package pile driver until the next day on Twitter. Like it was like,
Mhm.
why didn't they show that on TV? Like
Yeah, I think.
I have no idea.
Yeah, and I think Owens and Orton has potential. I feel like they just don't give it enough showtime.
Yeah, definitely. Let's move into another match that I also think has awesome potential, but hasn't gotten too much storyline. This is the one you wanted to talk about. Let's go Logan Paul and AJ Styles. How are you feeling about this feud so far?
I wish the build-up would be a little better, but I really think that this could be a potential like match of the weekend.
Oh yeah, I think it's going to be a show stealer. Like definitely AJ Styles, one of the greatest in ring of all time. Logan Paul,
Hmm.
one of the best up and comers in ring anyway. But yeah, you're right. There's not much going on in terms of storylines.
Because we last saw them interact. It was what, the show back at Madison Square Garden, which was how
Yeah,
long ago?
that was like 3 or 4 weeks at this point. It was before the European tour, so it's at least
Yeah,
2 or 3 weeks.
but I feel like I wish there was such a better build up to this match because this match can literally like blow the roof off the place.
Yeah, I think it's going to. It's going to be awesome. Like, um, we also saw Karrion Cross involved a little bit. They could have played into that. Like it was like Karrion Cross backstage was kind of influencing AJ Styles.
Hmm.
But we haven't seen much of him yet either. It's like most of this feud has been built up backstage. Like I don't understand.
I love how like, and it goes back to like listening to the fans. It's like they're having Karrion Cross on the like the backstage segments where like, oh, what everything that's happening now, like I already said this like months prior.
Yeah, because he did the same thing to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Like it was
Hmm.
like Karrion Cross is just that guy who's like, "Oh, I told you so." But it's like, what are you doing? Like AOP just got released or whatever, so now he's on his own. But he's not
Hmm.
in he's not in ring. He's not having matches. He's not really like doing anything other than saying, "I told you so." Like if they're gonna
Hmm.
have him be involved in a WrestleMania feud, have him be involved. Like he hasn't done anything, and I think he could have really helped this feud out in a couple of
Yeah.
ways. Like it's like they came out this week on Raw, and the promo was pretty much the meat and potatoes of it was the same promo everybody cuts against Logan Paul. You're a rich
Hmm.
prick, and you're pretty good, but you don't belong here. I'm gonna show you up. And then it's like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, Logan Paul. How about we do it at the money match at the big PLE that's coming up soon? So it's like
Hmm.
I just feel like everybody says the same thing against Logan Paul. So I don't know. This feud
Yeah.
it could be built up a little bit better, but I do agree this will 100% be like match of the night. Do you think it'll be on night one or
Hmm.
night two?
Definitely night one.
Night one.
I don't see. I feel like this would be a perfect like night one thing to like go into the second night.
Yeah. Um, how like late in the night do you think it'll be? Because I think people kind of know that this will be a hype match, and usually, um, last year anyway, we had Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre to kick off night two, I believe, and
Yeah.
that got the crowd like up, like put a good match first, get the crowd
Hmm.
excited, get them ready to go. But also like later in the night, you don't want it to steal away from the main event, but at the same time you
Yeah.
want to keep that like the crowd hyped the whole time. So like where in the show do you think it'll land?
I think it's probably gonna be like the second or third match of night one.
Hmm.
I feel like I feel like the way that I want this to happen, if it is gonna be the banger that I expect it to be, it shouldn't open up the show and it shouldn't like be near the closing.
Should just be like a good like surprise, like oh shit, that match was
Hmm.
awesome kind of thing. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
see that. I can see that. Anything else on Logan Paul and AJ Styles before we move on here?
The pulverizer?
The pulverizer, dude. I love I
Insane.
love the pulverizer. The only problem I have with it is how's he gonna do it to like a bigger guy?
Yeah, that's been my thing. And it goes back to I know like Austin Theory, he has ataxia. Love that move. Cannot hit it on anyone that's bigger than him.
No, No, not at all. Because Logan Paul's not a big guy either. Like that's the thing. Like if he was
Mm-mm.
like Braun Strowman or Jacob Fatu doing a pulverizer, it's like okay, but how's he going to do it to Jacob Fatu, or how's he going to do it to a
Mm-hmm.
Braun Strowman, or like even like an LA Knight? Like that wasn't his finisher back at SummerSlam, but if it was, how would he have beaten LA Knight? You know,
I mean, he still has one. He has a very underrated frog splash, in my opinion,
he
and
does. He
that's like
does.
perfect for him.
I'm glad they decided to move away from the one lucky punch thing though. Like I feel like now that he's an official superstar, they're like, okay, you know, we can't have some jackass in the crowd hand him a brass knuckles every week and just punch the guy in the face. It's like, okay, like that's
Hmm.
not believable. Like somebody would tell a referee at that point, like, hey,
Yeah.
watch Big Mike in the crowd. You know, he's gonna hand him a weapon or something. Like it's like
Hmm.
I don't know, that doesn't get believable. But I do love the pulverizer. That is a sick move.
And I also want to bring up one thing. Since he is facing AJ, if he pulls out a spiral tap on AJ, I think people
Oh
would go mental.
my god, hell yeah, dude, hell yeah.
If he pulls out the spiral tap on AJ, they are gonna go nuts.
Dude, it might happen. You know, Logan Paul, he's all about those clicks, right? Just the social media,
Hmm.
hype up WWE, Instagram, X, Facebook, whatever, the YouTube channel. Like that's what he's about. So like, I think
Hmm.
there's a high chance, literally anything crazy that he can do. Like
Yeah.
that what do you call it? Like the springboard from the top rope at SummerSlam. Like that was crazy. And he even said he was like, I'll never do
Hmm.
that again. You know. So like,
Yeah.
I think he'll try anything once, but he'll never
Hmm.
do it again. So I think there is a good chance now that you bring that up. That's sick, actually.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Jey Uso versus Gunther, one of the most controversial feuds recently in WWE. Before this episode of Monday Night Raw, how were you feeling about this feud since the Royal Rumble?
I'll be honest, I was not a fan of Jay winning the Rumble. I was not on board with it. But I feel like I'm still like on like the fence of it because like I get like going into like these few weeks going into Mania now, it's just Gunther playing mind games. And my God, has he been playing mind games. This is like the most destroyed Jey Uso we have seen
Yeah.
since like the initial run of him being like uh Roman's like right hand man like during the pandemic era.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like okay, so I had a party for the Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble was on my birthday this year, so it was awesome. I had a bunch of friends over. We were
Mm,
gambling on the Rumble. We all put numbers in a hat. However much money you put in, you pulled out a number. If your guy came out at that number and you win, you get the pot, whatever. Like that was the game.
mhm,
At the time, Roman Reigns was still in the match. John Cena was in the match. CM Punk was in the match. Seth Rollins was in the match. Me and
mhm,
like it was like how many of us were there? There was maybe like 5 or 6 of us. 3 of us had like those 3 guys separately. We were like making fun of our one friend because he had nobody left but Jey Uso. He was like, "What are the odds Jey Uso wins?" I was like, "Dude, no, you're fucked. Like you lost all your money."
mhm,
Come like 3 minutes later, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins go over at the same time, and
mhm.
then CM Punk gets eliminated by Logan Paul. We were like, "Oh my god, the winner of the Royal Rumble is either going to be John Cena, Jey Uso, or Logan Paul." And I was like, here I was like, okay, you know, it's
Mhm.
gonna be John Cena.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? I didn't see.
Like that was the obvious choice.
Yeah, it was the most star-studded Royal Rumble of all time. Now that we have the power of hindsight and we know what happened at Elimination Chamber, I'm glad it
Mhm,
was Jey Uso versus Logan Paul. But still,
mhm.
like, Drew McIntyre was in there. You could have made
Yeah.
a case for Damian Priest in there. Like, I'm not a big Damian Priest fan, which we could get to that later too. But
Mhm,
yeah, I don't know. Jey Uso, at first I didn't think it was the right call, and then going like moving on down, I think he just called out Gunther too early. It was like the next night. Like
mhm.
Gunther came out and he was like, "Jay, don't choose me. You're going to lose." Or "I hope you choose me because you're going to lose," or whatever. And he was like, "All right, I'm going to think about it for a week." And then the next week
Mhm.
Gunther beats him up or whatever and he's like, "All right, Gunther, I choose you." I was like, all right, and now you're stuck with like 3 months. This was in like February. You have 3 months to build this feud, and all Gunther did in that time was come out and just like beat him down after matches that didn't really have much behind them anyway. Like
Mhm.
Even Gunther hasn't looked too strong in this match. Like, what do you think about Gunther, or not this match, this feud? But what do you think about Gunther so far through this?
I think it will go back to last night. I think Michael Cole commented about Gunther being like a narcissist or a hypocrite, and it's literally what it's been.
Mm-hmm.
Like Gunther, he preaches about being the ring general, about the ring being sacred. Like he wants to do everything like traditionally, and everything like he's done in this field, this feud has not been traditional in the sense.
Yeah, like it's like I don't know. I agree. Just because he's just coming out and attacking Jay. Like he's like, I'm gonna make your life hell, and then all he does
Mhm.
is he comes out, he chokes him out, and then he leaves. And it's like that to me isn't making your life hell. What he did last night is making your life hell, and that's where I think that this feud
Mhm.
is finally starting to get its legs. Unfortunately, it's getting its legs a little later than we would have liked it to. But right now, I'm
Mhm.
behind it after we saw last night. What do you think about that?
This is what needed for this. What we saw last night was much needed to elevate this feud.
Mm-hmm.
Because now it's no longer like a physical like mind game. It's now an emotional mind game.
Mm-hmm.
He like could you imagine being like zip tied to a ring, watching your brother get his fucking ass beat
Yeah,
and you can't do anything about it. And
yeah,
it really like it was disturbing once like Jay started calling Jimmy by his like actual name.
yeah,
It's like, oh my God, we are going there. And then you got like Gunther smearing Jimmy's blood all over him.
yeah.
Did you see Gunther's Instagram photo?
He looked crazy. That was gonna
Absolutely
be
insane.
my my thumbnail for my raw review this week actually, because that was crazy. Um, but yeah, I think this match or this segment, whatever you want to call it, definitely saved this feud. Big props to Jimmy Uso. He's the
Hmm.
MVP of this because originally, back to the United States Championship thing that we were talking about, I think Jimmy Uso was supposed to go for the U.S. title, and then now they have this big like plot change where Jimmy Uso's got to come save Jey Uso's feud. So now LA Knight is
Hmm.
stuck with nothing. But yeah, Jimmy Uso, dude, he and that slap he gave Gunther last week, that was crazy.
Loud.
I sat up from my bed and like I was like I was going crazy.
Yeah. Like I remember like I was rewatching it with my one roommate and we both looked up. I'm like, what was that? It was like, oh, it's just Jimmy slapping the
Yeah,
absolute hell out of
it
Gunther.
sounded like a gunshot. It was crazy.
Like
Um,
the echo and the force behind that slap was
yeah,
actually
that
insane.
was you could see Gunther like holding back tears. Like he was trying to play it off, but
Hmm.
it was like, nah, dude, that was like a world slap championship caliber of slap.
That's a Travis Scott slap if
That's
I
a
see
Travis Scott slap. Yeah, definitely.
one.
Gunther better check his orbital bones. Do you think that this match, now that it's got a little bit more hype, now that we have the power of hindsight, do you think this match, had this happened a week or two earlier, could have main evented night one?
Probably. And I think it's too late now, especially since it was since we already had like Punk, Rollins, and Reigns set before like the whole like uh this whole like debacle. I feel like this had like night one potential.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I agree. Just because like before that, I was just bored of it. I was okay. So I was on like a roller coaster with it. One week I was like, why is Jey Uso having matches against Austin Theory, and why does Gunther care
Hmm.
enough to come ruin it? And it's like, why is
Yeah.
Gunther feuding with the Alpha Academy, who like isn't even like a mid carder? Like they're like the bottom of the barrel comedy act, like R-Truth levels of nobody cares, you know?
Hmm.
So like But now that it's at where it's at, I think I kind of agree. Like I think it has that potential, but it is too late, unfortunately. I think it could open the show. I think it'd be a great show opener, even if it was night
Hmm.
two. Like if we had both title matches on night two and save the women for night
Yeah.
one.
Hmm.
But yeah. Anything else on Jey Uso and Gunther before we move on? I've got like one or two more things I want to talk about here.
No, I'm good.
All right. So let's move into what I think is probably the most underrated right now feud for WrestleMania. It's one that I didn't particularly care too much about. But now,
Hmm.
after these European crowds, everything that's gone down in the past couple of weeks, I'm talking about Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. What do you think about their feud so far? And do you think this match is going to be any good? Is going to be any worth it?
I love everything about this feud, and I feel like there's not enough context that people look into it. Like people forget, like literally this time last year, Damian Priest cashed in on Drew to win the world title. And I feel like this is like the time for Drew's get back.
Yeah, that was exactly where I was sitting. Like at first, I was like, "Hey, Drew McIntyre," and I'm a huge Drew McIntyre fan. So when I saw that this was the setup at the Royal Rumble, I was like, "I'm not for this." But
Hmm.
the 2 or 3 weeks ago on SmackDown, when they really started getting into this feud, um, Drew McIntyre had that like promo video segment where he was like, "Hey, I had an incredible year. People want to see me in a title match, and that's where I deserve to be. However, I got some business to take care of first because every time I was screwed over last year, Damian Priest was there to capitalize on it. Money in the Bank
Hmm.
cash in at Mania, the infamous 5 minute World Heavyweight Championship reign,
Hmm.
Clash at the Castle in his home country. Drew has him
Yep.
by the balls. CM Punk screws him over. Drew McIntyre capitalizes. His Money in the Bank cash in. It just seems like every single time the Royal Rumble, Damian Priest eliminates him. Elimination Chamber,
Hmm.
Damian Priest eliminates him. Every time Drew McIntyre is on the come up, he's on his rise, he's right there. Damian Priest has been there to capitalize on it. So
Hmm.
since Drew McIntyre kind of brought that to like the audience's attention more, I'm glad he did
Hmm.
because now I'm more behind this feud.
Yeah. I feel like this has been, like you said, a very underrated feud that not a lot of people are like going into it like, oh, this could be another like filler match, but no, there's actually a story behind this that people aren't realizing.
Yeah, and a much deeper story because I was on that fence. I was like, hey, I don't want to see Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest. Like I just don't, But now,
Hmm.
over the past couple of weeks, Drew has kind of been doing a really good job of kind of carrying it the first couple of weeks, coming out and like destroying Damian Priest. Like he wasn't just attack him after a match. He was like, "Hey, I teamed up with Shinsuke Nakamura and kicked the crap out of this guy. Like, I don't care who has to help
Hmm.
me. I want you to stay down and never get up again." Kind of like, he did to Drew all year long. On SmackDown, Damian Priest finally got his comeback, where he put
Hmm.
Drew McIntyre through the windshield of a car. Have you seen the Instagram posts right now of Drew
Yeah,
McIntyre? He's got
I
the eye patch.
I love the fact that they panned the camera to Punk.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
an absolute like fuck you to AEW.
Yeah, that was the final AEW fuck you of the week. We got one on Raw too, or
Hmm.
that was the first AEW fuck you of the week.
Yeah,
But yeah, do you think that this match calls for a stipulation, like
100%.
Extreme Rules, something like that, Street Fight?
Yeah, I feel like with the way like these two have been going at it, I there has to be some sort of stipulation to this,
Yeah,
whether it be like a street fight or like a no holds barred.
because Damian Priest, I feel like really flourishes in that environment. Like his match against Finn Balor. For as much as I hated that feud, it was so much
Hmm.
worse than it should have been. Oh my god! But that match
Yeah.
was really good. And
Hmm.
I think Damian Priest does really well because that's like his whole character. He's like the street king or whatever. Um,
Hmm.
that's like that's like his element. And Drew McIntyre, we already know can handle that kind of thing. Hence the 18 staples in his head after the toolbox, the Hell in a Cell match. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think this definitely calls for something. I think we're gonna get something probably on SmackDown this week. I think a
Mhm.
Hell in a Cell would be cool.
That'd be cool, but I feel like the issue is like my thing with Hell in a Cell, and I think it just goes back to like just recent years. I feel like it was just so overused that I don't care for the match anymore.
Hmm. Really? I mean, I feel like more recently. Well, I guess at WrestleMania 39 we did get a Hell in a Cell match, but we only had like one this year.
Yeah, but I feel like just like prior to that, I feel like it's like a steel cage situation. It's like, oh, you two are gonna battle out in steel cage. Like, oh, great.
Yeah. I don't know. I was a big fan of the Hell in a Cell match we had last year, and I was even a fan of the one we got between Finn Balor and Edge, which
Hmm.
kind of killed Finn Balor's career, unfortunately.
I'm still pissed about that
I'm
match
still
to this
past.
day.
I'm still pissed about that. That would be a perfect segue into our next topic, actually. We're gonna talk Finn Balor next. Is there anything more on Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest before we get into that?
This is Drew McIntyre's last chance to bring back Broken Dreams. If he doesn't bring it back, there's no hope anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a fan of the Def Rebel stupid garbage generic entrances. Like that's your entrance, you know? Like it's got to be
Hmm.
something big. Like when you hear the first like "You Think You Know Me" of Edge's thing, when you hear the first riff of Cult of Personality, like you know who it is.
Hmm.
When you hear
Yeah.
I hear voices in my head, you know who it is. It's like,
Hmm.
did you see Zelina Vega when she debuted her new song? What was
They
it, two
did her
weeks ago?
so dirty.
It was so bad. She got no pop at all. That match was bad. First of all, Piper Niven and
Yeah,
Zelina
no,
Vega.
that was bad.
That match was bad. But I didn't know who it was, and it said on the screen, and they
Hmm.
told us Selena Vega was coming out, but she got no pop at all. That song was so bad. I'm not a fan of the Street Profits new song too much. I feel like it definitely fits their vibe, their new vibe a little bit better,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I still like the old one better. And there was one
It's
more.
Def Rebel. That's
Yeah,
the issue. It's
yeah,
just Def
yeah.
Rebel.
They gotta figure something out there. Like, there's no way $1 billion company can't hire like one music producer to make something new.
Well, weren't they supposed to be like gone like months ago?
I thought
And
so. I thought I read something about that, and yet Selena Vega's
I
getting no
guess they
pop.
probably
So
won't. They probably won't be gone until like after Mania, if I had to
no,
guess. Hopefully.
yeah, because it's like this has been a thing going on for years now. Like, how do they not know that?
Hmm.
Like, how do they not know people hate these songs and that like. It's not even like a hey people don't like this kind of thing. It's like your superstars are getting no reaction. Like it's like
Hmm.
your product, the thing you're supposed to be making money off of, isn't getting a reaction from the people who are supposed to be buying their merchandise. Like it's
Yep.
like there was probably like a 10-year contract or something that they signed years ago, and like
Hmm.
now through the power of hindsight, they're like, okay, we fucked up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right,
Let's hope we get more
yeah,
music producers soon.
yeah, like real. I want like vocals in a song, like Braun Breaker's song. I think his
Hmm.
is pretty good. The old
Yeah.
Judgment Day song I thought was the one before the new one when Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley were still there. I was a fan of that one.
Hmm.
I didn't think it was too bad. Anyway, though, anything more on Def Rebel or Drew McIntyre? Oh, one more thing about Drew McIntyre. Actually, he's got to win this
Go for
match.
it.
He's got to win this match.
I agree.
100%. There's no way because Damian Priest, as of recently, has been getting booked to like Cody Rhodes levels of protected, and like this is
Hmm.
his first real challenge of like, hey, this guy can actually like kick the crap out of me. But like
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, I really noticed this before Elimination Chamber when they had that promo where well, not all six, all five, because John Cena wasn't there, all five of them were
Hmm.
in the ring. The guy who stuck out to me the most as, hey, this guy can't hang, was Damian Priest.
Hmm.
On the mic, like we had Seth Rollins, we had Drew McIntyre, we had CM Punk out there. Even Logan Paul didn't do too bad in that promo. He was just being obnoxious, which, you know, that's like his
Yeah.
whole thing. But Damian Priest was like, I'm going to come out there and kick your ass. And Drew McIntyre was like, yeah, and? And he was like, and I'm going to kick your ass. And
Hmm.
it was like, all right, come on. Like he just felt too scripted, like sticking to that.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think Drew just has a higher level of star power than he does. I think Drew has to win, especially if he wants to get back on track and challenge
Hmm.
for championships in this Cena run, because I think Cena's totally winning 17 at Mania.
100%.
Yeah, yeah. I should have brought that up earlier, and I completely forgot about that question at the very first topic we did. But let's get into our final topic of the day. I want to talk about Finn Balor and what's going on Raw. So it's looking more and more like we're going to get a fatal four-way between Dominic Mysterio, Penta, Braun Breaker, and Finn Balor for the IC title at Mania. Originally, I predicted this was after Finn Balor's title match. I thought that we were going to get a triple threat, yet another triple threat for this WrestleMania between between Dominic Mysterio, Penta, and Braun Breaker. But now we've actually added Finn Balor to that. It's looking more and more like. What are your thoughts on this fatal four-way?
I am all for it. I love everything about what's going into this build-up. The fact that we actually have a build-up for the mid-card title is actually drawing my attention to this. And I feel like I love Braun Breaker. Like, I loved everything that he did in NXT, and I'm so glad, like, they immediately, like, gave him a mid-card title as soon as he was, like, called up.
Hey, he's a two-time champion. Two-time.
Yeah. And it's a win over, like, a big-profile name like Jey Uso, which does a lot for him.
Yeah.
But, I feel like my only critique I would have to say is Judgment Day. I feel like there's so much shenanigans that within Judgment Day that I feel like we could have seen like a Finn or like a Judgment Day heel turn against Finn.
Yeah.
And that could have been a Mania match itself.
Yeah. I think that this will be the catalyst to get Finn Balor out of the Judgment Day. I think that obviously it's been building up for weeks with this. Hey, we need a new member. We need a new guy. We're going to come out and ruin all these matches, blah, 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 whatever. I think in the match, something is going to happen between Dominic Mysterio and Finn Balor. Maybe Liv Morgan comes out to help Dominic and they turn on Finn. But something in this match is going to happen that catalysts Finn Balor to leave the Judgment Day and start a feud with Dominic Mysterio. Now, in the event that happens, do you think that feud involves the Intercontinental Championship, whether Dom holds it or whether Finn Balor holds it?
No. Going into this, I honestly think Braun's going to retain.
Yeah. I think Finn could. I think this would. Okay, I don't know if Finn is actually going to win, but I think if they really want to push Finn for this singles run that people have been clamoring for months now, years even. Did you know that Finn Balor has won 2 singles matches since 2023?
That's actually disgusting.
2. It is. It's awful. That's so bad. I feel so bad for Finn Balor fans. But I think that this is the perfect opportunity to get him back like on that track of like, hey, I'm the Demon Finn Balor. Whether he comes back as the Demon or not, I don't know. But if he wins the title at WrestleMania, that puts him immediately above where he was, no matter what. If he did anything at WrestleMania, the fact that he's at WrestleMania puts him above where he was. But yeah, I think this is the perfect chance to get Finn Balor back on track, get him out of the Judgment Day, put him in a good feud. Like Dominic Mysterio versus Finn Balor will be good. There's no doubt in my mind. But yeah, I think this is their chance. For as much as I love Penta, because I do, Penta's like the coolest thing since sliced bread to me. I don't know what it is, but yeah.
No, I love watching. I'm so glad like he's in the WWE now. I was first introduced to Penta with Lucha Underground, which I wish they would bring back because it was like such a good alternative. But I think, especially now, I feel like it's way too early for Penta for a mid-card title. Braun's been such on a hot roll, and I feel like as much as I would love Finn winning, I feel like there's going to be some sort of Judgment Day shenanigan that causes him not to win.
Yeah, because whether he wins or not, do you agree that this will definitely get him out of Judgment Day? He will get into a feud with Dominic Mysterio afterward. Like
Oh, 100%.
they don't have to have either of the two win. Like obviously, if they're gonna go with Braun Breaker, if they're gonna go with Penta, one of these two is just here to take the pin, like
Hmm.
plain and simple. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it'll definitely get him out of it, and I don't know, I don't know. I guess we'll see what's going on there. It's also big that he got the pin on Penta in that tag team match
Yeah.
this week. That's huge because Penta is yet to take a pin in WWE. He lost a triple
Hmm.
threat match with Ludwig Kaiser, but he didn't take the pin,
Hmm.
and he definitely didn't do bad in that match either.
No.
Which, looking back on it, I don't know why Ludwig Kaiser even won because they haven't really done anything with him since then.
Ludwig Kaiser is my next man up to win the IC title, in my opinion.
Yeah, I have him for.
Like I love everything about Ludwig Kaiser. Like I feel like, and I think the Undertaker even said this on his podcast. It was like he's such a hateable heel,
Yeah. Oh, he definitely is.
and I envy him for him being with Tiffany Stratton.
Don't we all? I
Ludwig
think.
Kaiser, man, I tell you.
Yeah. I have him in like a similar kind of boat in terms of like he's the next big heel in the WWE. Um,
Hmm.
I could see him winning like King of the Ring, like something like
I would
that.
love
Like if he,
that. Would honestly be better for him, honestly.
especially if somebody like maybe Gunther. Actually, it could work if Gunther wins or loses, because that's the SummerSlam main event is the King of the Ring, correct? I think so. That's what they did this
I
year.
think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, whether it's Gunther or Jey, because Jey just beat Gunther at WrestleMania, if that happens,
Hmm.
he could face Jey Uso. That's a they have kind of a story leading into that. Or he could face
Hmm.
Gunther, his old ring general or whatever. But yeah, I think
Yeah.
I definitely agree. Ludwig Kaiser is definitely the next big thing
Hmm.
in terms of heels. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else we missed on Finn Balor there? Any other final thoughts?
Um, I will say with Judgment Day, I feel like I love how like it went to being from like we're all like equals, and now it just feels like Dominic for some reason is calling the shots.
Yeah, and I think Liv Morgan really really elevated Dominic Mysterio in that way because it feels like she's like
Hmm.
since her introduction, it's not the same Judgment Day that we had with Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest because them together they were kind of like the family bonding unit things like Damian
Hmm.
Priest and Finn Balor they were like this, you know, they were the tag champions. Rhea
Hmm.
Ripley and Dominic Mysterio, they were the item. And all together, it just
Hmm.
worked. Like they were a family. Like I reminisce on old Judgment Day because, like, for as hateable as they were kind of like a little bit likable. Like you could look at them and be like, oh, like they're,
Hmm.
you know, they get along
Yeah,
internally at least. They're just this group that likes to do evil things together.
like old Judgment Day literally ran Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, they did.
This Judgment Day is running the mid card.
Yeah, they are a joke, like a complete joke. Because that was the cool thing about the old Judgment Day, was like one week, yeah, you could have Finn Balor and Dominic Mysterio and whoever else getting beat up on any given week, but then you could
Mhm.
immediately elevate them up to here, like Survivor
Yeah.
Series when CM Punk came back, like that summer or like before that summer coming out of WrestleMania, like they weren't that strong. Like Finn Balor had just
Hmm.
lost to Edge in that Hell in a Cell match at Mania, and like from there on, they weren't really all that. But come the
Hmm.
summer, now we're building up to Survivor Series, and it's like, okay, all of a sudden Judgment Day is a threat, and like you could believe it. You could believe that
Hmm.
they're bad, and now all of a sudden, okay, like we got to watch out for these guys because they had talents like Damian Priest, who's now Damian Priest. We had
Hmm.
Finn Balor, who is infamous with being awesome, even though he doesn't win at all. Pin Balor, I call him. Um, but yeah, this new Judgment Day, it just doesn't have that same star power, even though Liv Morgan is at the top of her game right now.
Yeah. I think the issue is like there was like a clear cut like leader.
Yeah,
And I feel like when you have a faction that is as large as this Judgment Day, you need to have like that like standout leader, I feel
yeah,
like.
because I feel like
Even if it's not like proclaimed.
I feel like the the standout leader right now is, in a way, I can't tell if it's Dominic Mysterio or if it's Liv Morgan, because it's like Liv Morgan seems to do everything, but at the same time, it's like she's doing it through Dominic Mysterio, like a
Hmm.
puppeteer kind of thing.
Yeah. So it's like it's hard to get behind this version of Judgment Day besides Carlito.
Yeah. I both love and hate Garlic. I feel bad for him actually, because it's like
Hmm.
he doesn't even have matches. He just goes out there and takes Braun
He's
Breaker's
just
spears.
there.
He's just there. He doesn't do any. He hits on Raquel Rodriguez and then he gets beat up by Braun Breaker at the end of the show. Poor.
When Raquel told Carlito to get out, I was like, oh my god.
I do. I love Carlito. He's so funny. Anyway, though, anything else you want to cover here before we start to close out the show? I think we're on for about an hour, hour and a half, hour and 20 here, so we got a pretty good time.
Yeah, I feel like, we're just literally a few weeks away from WrestleMania, which is insane.
Yeah,
Like it's already April, which is insane. I
I
feel like
know.
we were just starting the new year like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like my semester is like flying by right now. Like I can't even believe. Like I have so much other shit to be working on right now, and
Yeah.
just I don't know. It's been crazy, but yeah, April. It's crazy.
But I do want to like fall back on Judgment Day, and actually I do have a question that I think you'd probably like to answer.
Yeah.
If if they were to get a new member, if Finn were to be let go, who would you like to see replace Finn?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know because we've had these teases on SmackDown for like Malachi Black returning. There have been
Hmm.
rumors of Rusev coming back. Now, I don't think Rusev's going to join the Judgment Day, but it appears those guys are going to be on SmackDown. But I think Malachi Black would be a good fit for the Judgment Day. He's just got that like vibe to him, you know?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for him to come back.
Yeah.
Like, it's the SmackDown vignettes have been like incredible. Like, especially with Ray Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
we're about to see him. I think this Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely excited for that. I'm glad that him and Penta are on different shows for the time
Yeah.
being.
I don't want to see the Lucha Bros just yet.
Hmm.
For as great as they are.
But yeah, but like back to like my question about Judgment Day, I feel like a great replacement, honestly, is Karrion Cross.
Dude, I didn't even think about that. That's perfect. We were talking about Karrion Cross earlier and how he has nothing going on right now.
Hmm.
They have that like manipul especially with Liv Morgan now. I could see that.
Yeah.
Like that manipulative big bad group kind of thing cuz Monday Night Raw doesn't really have a big bad group right now. There's
Hmm.
American Made and whatever the hell's going on with Grande Americano, but
Gulf of
or the
America.
Gulf of America. That was so funny. Oh my god. I love Chad Gable. He's like my favorite.
I really want to see him win a singles
Oh,
title.
me
Like
too.
he's just been so deserving of
Yeah.
one.
He's been like one of my favorites for so long now. Since he I wanted to see more out of the like feud he had with Otis, unfortunately.
Yeah, they
But
dropped the ball on that one.
yeah, they kind of did. Um but I think he would have been a good guy to take the IC title off of Sami Zayn back then. Even Gunther, he
Hmm.
had the feud with Gunther.
Yeah.
Like he had the backing of everybody. And in terms of where he's at right now, like I think after this little Lucha saga is up, I think he'll be back in contention for, if not mid card titles, I think maybe world titles. We'll see him in a match or two,
Hmm.
especially with somebody like
Yeah.
Jey Uso, because like yeah, he's main event Jey Uso, but he doesn't have the same aura I feel as somebody like Gunther. You know?
Yeah. Only takes one catchphrase to get you over, apparently.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
A
it's
very
working though.
outdated one.
It's working though. A very outdated one. A very I can't even remember the last time Yeet was relevant. Other than where did that spawn from? The Yeet wasn't it the it was the press conference where him and Cody Rhodes were drunk last year. Remember
That was
when he was on the
hilarious.
mic and he was like, "Ah, yeet,"
Yeah,
and
no,
then
that was hilarious.
from there, it just went up.
But like the way Yeet started, I'm pretty sure it was from a Vine.
Oh yeah, yeah, like that
It
back.
was like,
Yeah, I was
like
talking about like Jey Uso starting it, but yeah, that's like 2015 levels of like old. Like if Logan Paul is using that in a diss track against Jake Paul, it's like
it's old.
it's that's old news, man. But hey, Yeet's relevant again. Now we even have Jimmy Uso doing it.
Yeah, the fact that he went from no Yeet to Yeet.
Yeah,
Thanks, Jimmy.
yeah. No Yeet. That was so funny. When Roman would look at him, he'd be like Yeet. He's like he gives him the look. No Yeet.
No Yeet. Yeah, no, literally.
That shit was so funny. All right. Anything else we want to get to here?
Um, I don't, was there anything else on Raw that happened?
I'm trying to think.
Oh, women's Intercontinental title.
Oh, that's a good one actually because while we were talking about Liv Morgan, this actually just crossed my mind. Liv Morgan right now does not have anything built up for WrestleMania. Like,
Nope.
I mean, she has the tag titles, but like, what are you like? There's no women's tag teams right now. So
Mhm.
with Raquel last week having that match against Lyra, and then they were like, "Hey, we're gonna bring this gold back to the Judgment Day one way or another." I could see Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria in a match for the IC title. That could get both of them onto the card because right now, what does Lyra really have?
I think what next week she's facing Bailey for the title.
Yeah,
But like other than that, there's nothing for the women's Intercontinental title.
yeah. Because people online were saying it could be Lyra and Bailey versus Liv and Raquel for the tag titles, but it's like you can keep the women's tag titles off of WrestleMania. Like there's no need. There's no women's tag teams. We already know what it's going to be. It would just feel like a filler match, just
Hmm.
like Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus did. It would feel the same kind of way. I'd much rather see Liv Morgan in a IC title match, which I think she could definitely win too.
Hmm.
Imagine Liv Morgan and Dirty Dominic Mysterio as the IC champions at the same time.
Like that would actually like solidify this version of Judgment Day
Yeah,
in my eyes.
yeah. And then we get that addition of Karrion Kross in there.
Hmm.
I'm really glad you brought that up actually because I didn't even think about that. That's like perfect.
I'm I'm annoyed with like these like women's mid card titles.
A little bit.
There's nothing behind them
Hmm.
at this rate.
Like I
Like you look at SmackDown, like what's Chelsea Green doing with the title?
yeah, she's had like 4 matches against Michin. Now I hate Michin. I hate Michin so much, dude.
Oh, really?
She's so cringe, dude. She does that. She does the long back attack or whatever, where she like fake twerks. Oh my god, bro, get her off my screen. I hate her. When I wrote in my SmackDown summary this week, um, I was so happy when Naomi came out and beat the crap out of her, and then Charlotte came out and then beat the crap out of her. I love watching Michin lose. Like I hate her. She's cringe. She's boring. I don't know. I don't like her. I know she was good down in NXT. Now I don't watch too much NXT. Like I don't
Mhm.
watch it like
Oh,
weekly. I catch an
you
episode here
gotta
and there.
get on it.
Oh, I
Get
know.
on it.
I know. I've heard, dude. Especially with Ricky Starks there now.
Hmm.
Everything going on with her is
Honestly,
awesome.
honestly, NXT is the number one show right now.
That's what I've been told.
Yeah,
Um,
gotta get on it.
but yeah, especially the women's division down there. The women's division down there deserves 2 mid card championships.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
The main roster doesn't.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I don't want to see Michin again. And even Zelina Vega with the pop that she got in where was it? Spain when she came out with her new music. I don't know, but it's
Mhm.
like nobody really cares. Like if whatever the feud is going to be for Chelsea Green, she's going to win it. Cuz they're just
Yeah.
now starting to hype up the Secret Hervis. I love the Secret Hervis, dude. It's so funny. It's so fucking funny. Um,
So I mentioned this to a friend of mine. I feel like Chelsea like needs like a male like mouthpiece, like a snobby like mouthpiece. You know what I mean? Just like
Yeah.
it fits her character.
Like who you
So it's
thinking?
like I would love to see a return of Tyler Breeze.
Oh, I can see that.
But then again, I feel like Tyler Breeze is a pretty deadly type of guy, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. What about a return of Matt Cardona?
I don't think we're ever gonna see that. I feel
I
like
I unfortunately don't either. He teases it on his Twitter all the time.
he teases it, but I feel like you can only do so much teasing before people get like they like shy away from it. It's like
Yeah.
we know you're not coming back.
Yeah. Cuz it's like before the Royal Rumble, before the Elimination Chamber, uh there was one more before like Survivor Series. He always posts something like, "Hey, like I'm coming back" or whatever. I could see him maybe next year in like if he's involved in TNA because he's like floating all around the indies right now, right? Like I don't even know where he's
hmm
at like to stay. But I could see maybe if he's in TNA, he makes like a Joe Hendry-esque appearance at a Royal Rumble.
hmm
Other than that, yeah, I don't see him coming back. He's not like a Cody Rhodes.
I like still can't believe we're living in an era that WWE and TNA are partners.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's really
Like
cool too. Like,
seeing oh, so like I forget, I think it was like a week or two ago, like when the Hardys
hmm
were on
yeah,
NXT
I saw that.
with the TNA tag team titles, I'm like Vince would have never let this
No,
slide,
no, he's long gone.
thankfully.
He's not coming back. I've seen rumors that he's trying to start like another, um, like wrestling promotion. But
I've been seeing that too.
I don't think that's gonna. I don't think
Mm.
anybody will
You,
ever, whether the allegations are true or not. Which, knowing Vince, they most likely are.
yeah,
Unfortunately, but I don't think anybody will give him any kind of TV deal anytime soon.
yeah, no, not a shot.
Definitely not. Definitely not. But yeah, I'm really happy that we had the thought of having women's mid card titles, and as of
hmm
right now, we are still only on our first champions of each of them.
Yeah.
Um, but I think we just have to give them a little bit more time to cook. Right now,
hmm
there's no like women mid carders. Like who really is there on Raw or SmackDown besides fucking Meechin and Vega? Like there's nobody on Raw.
hmm
I guess there's Bailey. Like there's that. I would hate if this turned into a triple threat match between Bailey, Liv Morgan, and Lyra Valkyria at WrestleMania.
hmm
I've just I've said it like 5 times throughout the show already. I don't want to see any more multi-man matches.
hmm Yeah, no, it gets to the point where it's like you could have like a triple threat or a fatal four way that could either like blow the roof off the place or be like, why was this a match?
Yeah, like the triple threats where it's like all three of them are wrestling each other at the same time are good, but where it's like one on one guy's laying outside the ring, and then he comes in, knocks the other
hmm
guy out, and then that's boring. Like if we got another like Sheamus versus Drew McIntyre versus Gunther at WrestleMania 39,
Yeah.
that would be sick. But like not, I already know that not every match can be that.
hmm
That's why I'm just
Yeah, no,
like,
that's why I'm hoping like that Punk, Rollins, and Reigns triple threat like brings that same energy that
yeah,
McIntyre, Sheamus, and Gunther had.
I think it definitely will. Like there's no way they could screw this one up.
Let's hope not.
I think yeah, hopefully.
There's been so much build up for this.
Yeah, over like years. Like this isn't even like a couple of weeks kind of thing. This is like
Mm-mm. This is from the Shield debut.
yeah.
Speaking of which, I know this is a different company, but what were your thoughts on John Moxley taking probably one of the most disgusting bumps I've ever seen?
Ooh, ooh, yeah. So okay, I'm not a weekly AEW watcher, right? So like
Oh, neither am I.
I'll tune in here and there. Like I'm like okay, wrestling's on. I'll watch it. But I don't really know any like the storylines or anything. But I
Hmm.
saw that. That was disgusting. I was like, there's no way that this isn't like a rubber bat and nails or whatever. And then he fell on it and
Hmm.
stood up. Dude, his like, ugh. You see, I'm not a fan of like blood in matches too often. Like, I'm
Hmm.
queasy. I don't like gore. I don't like gory movies. Like, I don't like stuff like that.
Hmm.
So like when I saw that, I was like, oh my god! Like his like skin was like peeling backwards. Like, did you see the clip?
Yeah, it was.
I saw a clip on Twitter today of John Moxley before he was. I think it was. I don't know if it was after WWE and before AEW, or if this was years ago before WWE. Somebody got a chainsaw, and they like cut his
Mhm.
forehead across, and like he was like bleeding down the face. I was like,
Oh, it was
ugh.
definitely like pre
It had
WWE.
to. It was like, dude, it was
That's
like
like
outdoors.
CZW right there.
It was like outdoors. Like, it was crazy. But yeah,
Yeah, no, that's definitely like that CZW like extreme like shit. It's like,
yeah,
and like I used to like deathmatch wrestling. I thought it was just something different, but now it's like if I'm seeing it at like a top company, well, it's AEW. I don't know how top how top it is,
they're like
but
two or three.
it's like it's such a cheap pop for what?
Yeah, like if you can get pops without that, that's like optimal. You know,
Hmm.
like you don't need blood.
Yeah,
I think Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens needed blood.
oh, 100%.
Like out of any match in WWE that we've gotten this year, like that one definitely needed it. Especially like you're telling me Kevin Owens got hit in the head with a barbed wire steel chair and didn't even like accidentally bleed.
Hmm.
Like you don't have to like
Like,
blade yourself all over and be like drenched. Like you don't need that.
yeah, not a scratch on him.
No, nothing. Nothing. Not even his back. Like he landed on. He got power bombed into it.
Hmm.
The Blue Thunder Bomb. I love the Blue Thunder Bomb. That's like one of my favorite moves in wrestling right now.
I wish that was his actual finisher.
I feel like they tried to make it his finisher. Didn't he?
I
There was
think, but it's like I'm like not all for like the haluva kick.
no. The Blue Thunder Bomb's way cooler. When I got to see it in person, when Raw came around, like it was during
Hmm.
Seth Rollins's title reign as World Heavyweight
Hmm.
Champ. We got to go to Monday Night Raw, and that night it was Seth Rollins versus Sami Zayn for the World Heavyweight Championship. I was
Oh,
like,
I was there.
oh really?
Yeah.
I was up in the nosebleeds at Mohegan Sun, but I was
Oh, I
standing there.
was hard cam seats.
Yeah, I was screaming Blue Thunder Bomb. Like I wanted to see it so bad, and then I eventually did, and it was awesome. I hope Raw comes around again,
Hmm.
like a Raw or a SmackDown, not just like a house show. Like I know
Yeah, like
smaller arenas sometimes they don't like to do the big shows, but usually we get at
mhm.
least a SmackDown.
It's funny because like I mentioned this to my one friend. It's like whenever like Raw is in like the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, it's always after a Saudi show.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
What did we have
there's a
last night?
trend.
Oh, it was Crown Jewel or whatever, or Night of
Yeah,
Champions. Night of Champions.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't even gotten anything like announced yet because usually around this
Hmm.
time we'll know for June because I work over at a radio station in Scranton and
Hmm.
we always get the commercials like months in advance like WWE will be at this arena
Gotcha.
on this day, and usually around this time last year I had the ones for SmackDown when it
Hmm.
came, and this year nothing yet. So
Gotcha.
hopefully WWE comes back to town within the year. I think the Raw was in November and SmackDown is usually in like June, but their schedule might be all messed
Hmm.
up because of these European tours.
Yeah.
All right.
I will say, just being out in like Philly now for a bit, I think I really regret missing the Philly show that they had.
Oh which one was that? What happened that night?
I think it was Raw. I forgot what happened. I forget how long ago this was, but I remember there was a Raw in Philly, and I just heard it was insane. I don't remember the context of it,
Yeah,
but
the last SmackDown that I missed in Mohegan Sun Arena, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago. It was the one where Roman Reigns came back for like one or two nights Like, or
Hmm.
it might have been building up to WrestleMania actually, because it was the night that they unveiled the all gold WWE Championship. They did
I
that.
was there for
Yeah,
that.
I wasn't there. They did that in Wilkes-Barre, and I was so pissed that I missed it because I think I was working that night or something, so I had to record the show, and I went back and watched it, and I was like
Hmm.
following on Twitter at work,
Hmm.
and I was like, "You gotta be kidding me, dude! Like that's like Roman Reigns was here."
Bro, you
Yeah,
should have heard the pop for Triple H alone
yeah, I can
was
imagine.
insane.
I can imagine. We got we got Logan Paul at SmackDown last time when he was
Yeah, I
here.
remember that.
That was when it was it was right before the Saudi show. Actually, they announced Logan Paul versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE
Yep.
Championship at I don't remember what it was, but yeah, we got Logan
And
Paul.
that was when Logan was the US champion too.
Yeah, hmm so that
I
was
still can't believe he won a mid card title before some of these other people.
yeah for real. Like I mean, I was gonna say Jacob Fatu, but Logan was around before Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Like Solo Sokoa maybe. Who else?
Yeah. Chad Gable.
Chad Gable. No, dude.
He
He,
won- Logan Paul won a mid card title before Chad Gable. That's criminal.
I feel so bad for him. I love him so much. Like the running joke is that's not Chad Gable, El Grande Americano. I don't know who that is. It might be Chad Gable. I mean,
It might be.
it might.
No,
He
I
was
want to see
sick
what
though.
happens
He was
next.
sick though.
Yeah.
He was sick. It can't be
I
Chad.
mean, Raw's in Minnesota next
Yeah,
week, so
I can't wait until
well,
Adam Pearce announces that Chad Gable is going to be going 1-on-1 with El Grande Americano.
I was thinking about
like,
that in my head. It's like
what
it's
are they going
like
to do?
I feel like they're gonna find a way to have like a stunt double or something,
They
or be
might.
like,
Maybe that's how.
oh,
Maybe that's how Ray Phoenix debuts in the El
well,
Grande
isn't Phoenix on
Americano gear.
SmackDown?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. I'm just thinking of something here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I feel like it's back to Logan Paul. I feel like he is such a WWE guy. I feel
Oh
like
yeah. I okay.
because
So
go for
I
it.
was gonna say when I was like a 12-year-old child, this was before the Japan incident. I was a Logan Paul fan. Like I
Mm,
subscribed to Logan Paul. I watched his vlogs like every day. I was like
mm,
he was like my inspiration to like go to the gym and shit. Like I was like I want to look like that guy. I want to be a millionaire YouTuber.
mm,
I want to be ripped. And so like, after the Japan thing, it's like, like okay, that's a little weird. But now that he's in
yeah.
WWE, like I'm like, I was kind of always a Logan Paul guy. So like I think he's really
Mm,
good. And like obviously people are like, okay, he's a shitty person. He does like crypto scams and shit.
yeah.
But other than that, like he's a really good wrestler and when he's on TV, he's just being himself, but like
Mm,
to the next level, Like he's still
yeah.
being a rich douchebag, but like just
Mm.
now he's an in your face, even harder rich douchebag. So
Did you see him rip up the Prime bottle that said prick on it?
no, I didn't. I didn't.
He he came out to confront AJ and he grabbed a Prime bottle from the stands. It was like a poster, and instead of Prime,
Oh,
it
is
said
that what
prick
that
on it.
said? I saw him rip up the sign.
Yeah,
I didn't know it said prick on it. I thought he ripped up a Prime
yeah.
sign because I actually said to my girlfriend while we were watching it, I was like, "Why did Logan Paul just rip up his own thing?"
Nope, it
I
said
didn't.
prick on
I
it.
didn't realize that. That's awesome, actually. That's funny. I think he'll be a.
Yeah, no, but like
Oh, go
he's
ahead.
such a good like talent wise, easily up there.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. That's why AJ Styles Logan Paul is gonna cook.
Hmm.
Like undoubtedly,
Yeah,
it definitely has potential to be match of not just the night, but like probably
the
a
entire
match
week,
a match of the year.
definitely.
All right. Well, anything else we want to cover here? While I'm sitting here, we were.
Um, what are your thoughts on just the tag team divisions?
Ooh, Raw. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Not it.
Mm-mm. Raw's not it. Raw has nothing going on. What tag teams are on Raw other than the Creed brothers and the War Raiders? I mean, they have New Day, I guess. Actually, New Catch Republic coming out might save Raw's tag team division
Yeah.
because, like I said, they've got nothing going on as compared to SmackDown. Since the Motor City Machine Guns debuted, SmackDown's tag team division has been like undeniably like up there in
There.
terms of things I look forward to when I watch SmackDown now. Because before
Hmm.
that, it was nothing. They split the titles at last year's Mania, and
Hmm.
then they did nothing with it. And that was a complaint for a long time that like SmackDown just had nothing going on for tag teams. And like since Motor City Machine Guns, it's been so good. Like
Hmm.
I think at WrestleMania we're going to get, this was one of the ladder matches that I actually think deserves a ladder match. Is all five of the tag teams, Los Garza, Pretty Deadly, all those guys.
Hmm.
I think they're gonna be in a multi-team tag match for those titles. I think Pretty Deadly is gonna walk out of Mania WWE Tag Team Champions.
I I agree with you. And here's the thing though, I've always been like a pretty deadly guy because I think before I forget, I think it was Kit Wilson, I believe that got
I
injured.
honestly
I
don't.
forget.
I don't know the difference between them.
No, but I think before one of them got injured, they were supposed to become champions.
I heard that
And
somewhere.
I was like, I've always been big on Pretty Deadly. I will say the older I've gotten, the more I love heels and
That's
like
I'm in the same boat.
snobby heels.
hmm
And like Pretty Deadly just fits that build.
Yeah, like growing up, like obviously I got my shirt on right now. I've always been a Randy Orton fan. Drew McIntyre is one of
Hmm.
my favorites right now. Gunther's one of my favorites right now. Like I've always been like a heel guy. So like Pretty Deadly, like back then. Oh, I just put my mouse on my screen. Oops. But Pretty Deadly, like back then, they were still good. I like them, but I like them as like that, like you said, that like snively heel, like comedy kind of route. Like I think like when they
Hmm.
came out to celebrate with Nia Jax and like the Pretty Deadly the musical,
That
like that
that
was
was
funny.
hilarious.
But like right now, I can take them seriously. Like
Hmm.
back then, like yeah, I liked them. They were good. They were funny. They were cool, but they weren't tag team champions to me. Now though,
Hmm.
I can completely see it.
Yeah. Like SmackDown's tag team division is like the best thing that's going for them right now.
Yeah, and that's one of the benefits of the 3 hour show, is because before that, something had to get cut from the show, like from the 2 hours. It was like
Hmm.
whether it was a women's match, whether it was a tag team match, anything. Like something was always getting cut off of SmackDown and wouldn't show up until the next week because people were
Hmm.
saying like we have a story going on. Say it was for the United States Championship
Yeah.
and LA Knight was the champion. LA Knight would come out one week, he'd call out whoever his opponent was, let's say Jacob Fatu for now. Let's say he'd call out
Hmm.
Jacob Fatu one week, and then the next week on SmackDown, oh, we don't have time for the United States Championship this week. So now it's two
Hmm.
weeks before you get any story developments. And it's like that was the big complaint. I think that the sweet spot right now for shows is what Monday Night Raw is doing. I think 2.5 hours is fine. 3 is a
Yeah.
little long, especially with
Hmm.
SmackDown. It's a little bit not boring, but like at times it's like Piper Niven versus Zelina Vega when they got those no pops at wherever it was.
Yeah.
That match was 20 minutes long, and it was boring as fuck. Like like I just
Hmm.
like I don't know. I was not a fan of that. And with a 2.5 hour show, you can cut that match and still get everything else, and then your show is like elevated. So what if it's shorter?
Yeah.
But yeah, the
Hmm.
tag team division has really benefited from this 3 hour show. I wish they could do something similar over on Raw.
Hmm. And I feel like just like as a fan too, it's like if you go to like one of those like live like Raws or SmackDowns where it's like 3 hours, you're just sitting there. It's like, oh man, we still got like another hour.
Yeah, because when I was there, and maybe like as a child when I used to go to wrestling shows, like I didn't realize this, but like
Hmm.
when I was there recently, the past 2 or 3 years, I didn't notice that they did the commercial breaks to you while you were sitting there. Like they
Yeah.
played shit on the screen, like go buy from our online store, it's 40% off, yada yada yada, like whatever. I
Hmm.
didn't like
And
I
then
didn't
like all like the fan cams.
Yeah, and it's like you could be doing like anything else right now. Like right now, what they're doing on Raw, which we don't get to see, but like international
Hmm.
crowds do, they don't have like the commercial breaks, like for
Hmm.
some countries, they'll do like a Kathy Kelly interview or something, and
Yeah.
like everyone in the arena will see it, and like sometimes it's something like I can't even say what they are sometimes because I don't get to see them. But like what I've heard is like,
Yeah.
hey, it could be like a story development thing. Like there was
Hmm.
like a Finn Balor one that hyped up his match against Braun Breaker that we didn't get to see, or like stuff like that. And it's like
Hmm.
they could easily be doing something like that for live crowds.
Oh, 100%. But
Yeah,
I just feel like it's it's the American crowd,
yeah.
and the European tour definitely put American crowds to shame.
Do you think that this European tour will elevate American crowds to be like, hey, we got to like step up our game? Because when I was at SmackDown last time,
Mhm.
everybody in the arena sang Randy Orton's song. And it seems like
Yeah.
since Backlash France, which really
Hmm.
changed everything, everybody has sang Cody Rhodes' song. Everybody has
Hmm.
sang Randy Orton's song. It's like I think that maybe this could like those Cody Rhodes chants, the Roman Reigns chants, like maybe we'll see those
Hmm.
now in American crowds.
The issue is like I just feel like international crowds, they're just more creative with chants.
Yeah, I can see that because like that's like
Like,
part of the soccer culture and stuff, or football, or whatever you want to call it.
yeah, like Bailey, like whenever like they're doing the European tours, Bailey has like her own specific like chant,
Yeah,
or like it's like those like tiny like details that make them like stand out just a little bit more. Or
yeah,
even like Backlash when it was in France. AJ Styles got probably one of the biggest pops I have ever seen.
yeah, dude, that was crazy. Like that match was like a match of the year contender just for the crowd. The arena
Hmm.
was shaking, and I remember watching it and being like, "Holy shit!" Like I've never
Yeah.
seen that before ever. I still
Hmm.
can't wait until they go back to France. They didn't do.
Oh,
Did they do
100%.
France on this tour, the European tour?
I I don't know,
I don't think
honestly.
they did.
Because I think they're building up to Clash in Paris.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So they are going back to France at least. AJ
Hmm.
Styles has to be on that card somewhere,
I hope. He
preferably in a
had
title match.
mhm, still like one of the like biggest pops I think of all time.
Oh, definitely. It's probably one of my favorite crowd moments.
100%.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've been going for about 2 hours here. I was gonna close it out about an hour ago, but you know that was fine. That was a good talk. That's what we're here for. You know, I'm here for
Hmm.
just personable conversations. I like that more than that like interview style. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, this was cool. I think we're gonna close it out here though. If you want to come back next week, shoot me a text and we'll definitely do this again.
Hey, I'm open for it.
All right. Well, I will definitely let you know. For everybody listening, watching, YouTube, Spotify, whatever it might be, thank you for tuning in for the very first episode of the Squash Match Wrestling Podcast. We hope to see you all next week for weekly blog posts and updates on everything going on Raw, SmackDown, and every PLE that might happen. You can check that out over on SquashMatchWrestling.com. And be sure to follow all my socials. They're in the graphic below. See you next week.